Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Johnny Moz's Lessons in Confidence, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about analysis paralysis, which is this term that I heard about recently that I kind of resonated with, which basically means when you're trying to figure something out and you kind of get yourself frozen and locked down from just the working itself out and you never actually make a decision. Like for instance, you ever sort of try and figure out what kind of takeaway you want to get. Say you're getting a takeaway, right? That's a fair bit of money, right? So you want to make sure you kind of choose correctly, you know? So you really don't want to end up with a curry that you really don't like, or like a pizza that comes like really like sort of greasy and nasty. So you're kind of a little bit worried that you're going to get the wrong thing. And that can kind of lead you to sort of deliberating like, oh yeah, well the cheese one's that, it's kind of got that, and there's a little side bonus to that, and I look at the reviews of that and people say that one's kind of good. But then this vegetable one also has some good reviews, and it kind of looks like it'll be a little bit more interesting, or like, oh, but yeah, then there's a pepperoni one, and I do like a bit of a pepperoni, so, oh, but then do I want to take the risk on it, because it might be one of those places where it does too much pepperoni and there's too much grease on the entire thing, and that ruins the cheese. And so you end up thinking about this stuff for so long. The takeaway place shuts and then you can't get anything. So that's something that happens all throughout life. Apparently it's something that's very specific to people with ADHD, but I'm not talking about it from the lens of a particular mental illness or anything like that. I'm just talking about it in life in general, because we all get that paralysis for choice when we're, looking at the menu in a restaurant, or maybe we're looking at what to buy in the supermarket, or maybe we're figuring out what car we want to get, or what camera equipment we want to buy, all these kind of things. So all of these choices, and too much choice can stunt you and make you sort of think, hang on, how are you gonna figure this one out? Because there's so many choices here, and you've got to choose one of them, and you want to make sure you choose the best one. It's like when I was trying to figure out what camera I wanted to buy. I went through so many options. I looked at Sony, I looked at Panasonic, I looked at Fujifilm, I looked at Nikon, I looked at Canon, and I looked at so many, right? And I went back and forth, going through the reviews of this, comparing it to the specs of this, going through this, figuring out, this one has built-in ND filters, but this one has inbuilt stabilization. What do I want? What's more important to me? I can't get both, because that would require increasing my budget to something I can't afford. So I had to pick something. But you know what I ended up doing? I picked the Canon C100 Mark I, and it certainly wasn't the thing that any review told me to get. It wasn't the one that was the highest spec. It wasn't the one that was had all the best features. It had a few things that I thought would be useful to me, and that was all I really needed. So I went for it, and I have not looked back since. I love this camera with all my heart. It's an absolutely beautiful piece of equipment, and I think I made the right choice. But that's not to say that in an alternate reality, where maybe I chose the Panasonic GH5, maybe I'd be sitting here and you'd be watching this video with a bit more of a vivid color scheme and a bit more contrast, sort of thinking the exact same thing, that I wouldn't have had it any other way, and I would never have gotten a Canon something or a Sony something. Like the choice you make, you end up owning that decision. And I think that's the way of overcoming analysis paralysis, is you've got so many decisions to make, some of them are going to be wrong, but own your decisions even if they're wrong. Like for instance, when I used to direct film sets, and I still do direct film sets obviously, but not to the same scale as I was doing before. When I was directing really big film sets, you'd be doing sets where you're in charge of like a couple dozen people, and what it is every sort of 20-30 seconds, maybe a minute, every minute, let's say, you get asked a question and you need to respond to that question with an answer. So you need to figure out an answer every minute. And sometimes I said the wrong answer, and that caused a little issue down the line. But if I was to sit there and deliberate over all of these questions and take all that time, that would have caused a worse outcome than if I just made a couple wrong decisions. So you're going to make wrong choices. The analysis paralysis is there as an anxiety preventative measure to stop you from making the wrong decision. But you know what, if it's not, like life-changing financial stuff, if it's not something that's super duper important like that, you can make the wrong decision and not really worry about it so much. Like with those little creative decisions, sometimes I look back at the footage and I think, I wish I'd done it that way instead of this way, but I did do it this way. So own the fact that I did it that way and continue to build the film based off of that previous decision. And that's kind of what I did. And I think that's the way that you end up coming out with a more cohesive product, rather than trying to strive for perfection and fail because you get stunted by the overwhelming amount of decisions that there are to make. You got so many decisions that you're going to have to make through life, and you can't always make the right ones. Sometimes you're going to choose wrong. Sometimes you're going to do something that you look back on and go, why the fuck did I do that? That was stupid. That was really, really stupid of me. And that's going to happen no matter what, no matter how much you deliberate, no matter how much you allow the analysis paralysis to take you over, and no matter how much you know, try and account for every variable. Nothing is going to prevent a wrong decision, because sometimes that's just what's going to happen at the end of the day. So that's essentially my message is, if you do suffer from analysis paralysis, obviously you can't just turn it off, right? I can't just turn mine off, and I fall victim to it. Most recently, it's been with editing day 5 of this Johnny Moz's Lessons in Confidence, where it's a bit of a different type of edit that I need to do. And so I've been putting it off. And so when I get back today, I'm going to just sit down and just edit it, and fuck the analysis paralysis, fuck the idea that I might not make all the right decisions with regards to the edit. Because you know what, that's not an important decision, those little editing decisions like that, because I can change them again. It's not a permanent thing. So I don't need to worry about it. All that's important is getting stuff done, making the decisions, rather than trying to make the right decisions. I would rather make 100 decisions than make one. Even because what's going to end up happening is I'm not going to get all those 100 decisions right. You know, I'll probably get some of them wrong, but there's no guarantee that I'll make that one decision correctly either. It's just not going, that's not the way the world works. So that's essentially all I have to say. So thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you managed to get something from it. And if you do suffer from analysis paralysis, particularly if you come from more the actual ADHD space of things, I'd like to hear your perspective on this topic from the actual, maybe not necessarily the medical point of view, but you know, the general point of view of actually having ADHD. And you know, I mean, I suspect I've got ADHD, but I don't want to get it diagnosed personally. I'm not going to do anything like that. I don't think it would be anything useful for me. But if it was useful for you, and you managed to get something out of it, and you thought about this concept analysis paralysis before, please let me know what you make of this. And if you have anything to add to the conversation, please do. We might make another video on this at some point. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this. Have a good rest of the day. Take care, and bye-bye. I was going to do like a sliding down thing, but it's not really working. So see ya.